The fight of the century is back on. Mayweather and Pacquiao clash again, while De La Hoya melts down like a forgotten popsicle. Boxing legend Oscar De La Hoya, once a rival of both Mayweather and Pacquiao, predicted Pacquiao would have the more lasting legacy. And he stated, 3 years ago, hands down it would have been Pacquiao, but now I would go with Floyd. If he fights Pacquiao, then Floyd will erase all doubts that anybody might have. It's one of those fights where anybody could win. Who would I give the edge to if it was today? I would have to go with Floyd. Yes, Pacquiao has aged more in the ring. Absolutely. Why? Because he's been in wars. But who has more respect which is going to live on forever? That's Manny Pacquiao. There is no doubt about that. With Manny Pacquiao, they are going to say, wow, he fought all these guys, fought tooth battles, and gave us all these fights. Now it's a matter of what matters most. Oscar De La Hoya expressed enthusiasm for the highly anticipated Mayweather-Pacquiao clash, suggesting that Pacquiao posed a significant threat to Mayweather's dominance. Oscar stated, "It's just gratifying to know that his fight is finally taking place. On May 2nd, we are finally going to have the opportunity to watch Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. A lot of people can argue it is maybe a few years too late, but I really do feel that Mayweather and Pacquiao still have a lot left in the tank to make it a really good fight. As a boxing fan, I'm really looking forward to it. I have always preached to the boxing fans, to the writers and the reporters, that we must demand the best fights. We must demand the best fighting the best. I believe so because you have taken into account that Pacquiao is a southpaw. If he has the legs for 12 rounds to move inside, outside, side to side, and throw a lot of punches, then I really do feel that Pacquiao can do some damage to Mayweather. But then again, Mayweather is a masterful boxer. He is a master at defense, so it is just going to be a really entertaining fight." Oscar De La Hoya says that Manny Pacquiao is one of the only fighters that he would never want to be in the ring with again.
I wouldn't have loved to fight Pacquiao again because he kicked my sorry. But yeah, there were many fighters out there who I would have loved to fight 2 or 3 times.
You know what? So you had enough of Pacquiao, is what you're saying?
Oh, trust me. Right when I walked into the ring, I had enough of Pacquiao.
You thought that when you got in the ring?
Oh, well, Rich, this documentary, my gosh, it's sad too at the end because it shows the whole Pacquiao situation. I was getting beat up in training camp when preparing for Pacquiao. So I knew that was the end already for me because Pacquiao was just coming up.
Yeah.
Pacquiao was like the star in the making, but what really screwed up my whole training for that fight was I started drinking heavy during training camp, and nobody knew. Oh yeah. I mean, it gets so I was literally a dead man walking into the ring.
Oscar actually thinks that things would have gone differently if Manny and Floyd had met in the ring earlier, and he stated, absolutely. If they fought in their prime, Pacquiao would have beaten him easily. It would have been very different had they met earlier. At one point, Oscar actually wrote a letter to Floyd to detail how he's a boring fighter, and it stated, "Dear Floyd, you did it. You made it to the 49-0 mark, a milestone that you like to say only the great Rocky Marciano reached, but that was actually achieved by others, including my idol Julio Cesar Chavez, but who's counting? And now you're retiring. Again. This time you say it's for real. You're serious about hanging up the gloves. On to bigger and better things. So I'm writing to you today to wish you a fond farewell. Truth be told, I'm not unhappy to see you retire. Neither are a lot of boxing fans. Scratch that. Most boxing fans. Why? Because the fight game will be a better one without you in it. Let's face it, you were boring. Another reason, boxing is better off without you. You were afraid. Afraid of taking chances. Afraid of risk. A perfect example is your greatest triumph, the long-awaited record-breaking fight between you and Manny Pacquiao. Nearly 4.5 Mallard buys. More than 400 million in revenue. Headlines worldwide. How can that be bad for boxing? Because you lied. You promised action and entertainment and a battle for the ages, and you delivered none of the above. The problem is, that's precisely how you want it. You should have fought Pacquiao 5 years ago, not 5 months ago. That, however, would have been too dangerous, too risky. On the other hand, Oscar De La Hoya didn't seem too keen on retiring himself.
So how's retiring?
To tell you the truth, miserable.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, because aside from like my kids, family, and when I'm not boxing, I'm miserable. Fucking miserable. For some strange reason, it's like boxing is like my savior. It's like boxing. That's all I know. That's all I know. I started fighting when I was 5 years old, and so when I'm not thinking about boxing, when I'm not thinking about fighting somebody or training or it's like, what do I go do? I'm gonna go and destroy my life.
At one point, Oscar talked about how open he would be to fighting Manny or Floyd in a rematch, and he made it clear that Manny wasn't a fighter he looked to rematch. Oscar stated, "Manny Pacquiao is a guy who has so much energy. He is a southpaw. We do have a history together where he beat me, but it just wouldn't be the right style for me at this moment of my life. I've always prided myself in fighting the very best. So why to go after the second best? Why not go after the guy that beat him? Why not go after Mayweather, for instance, in a revenge fight? That's something very intriguing. We'll see how I feel, and then we'll take it from there." Oscar has even admitted that his beating by the hands of Manny was part of the reason he retired.
It actually took a very tough beating to get me out of the sport.
Like Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao. I mean, he beat the hell out of me. Manny Pacquiao would be right in front of me. He would, after hitting me 15 times, and then I would be ready to hit him, and he would be wide open, and I couldn't pull the trigger. I just couldn't pull the trigger.
Oscar also remembered Floyd Mayweather Sr. coming up to him after Oscar's fight with Floyd, and according to him, Floyd's father said that he won the fight. Oscar stated, "So the fight's over. Floyd Sr. is like my best trainer I ever had. Me and Floyd are like this. And I see him coming to me. I'm going to say something to him. Like, hey, we're cool, right? Because at the time, he was like the man, you know. And he goes, ah man, Oscar, you won that fight. Ah man, the dad told me that." Oscar De La Hoya definitely thinks that a rematch between Floyd and Manny would bring a lot of pay-per-views, and he stated, "Obviously Mayweather's all about the money. This would be probably the biggest fight out there for him. I believe it would be bigger than him fighting McGregor. It would be bigger than him fighting Logan Paul, or whoever he's bound to fight next. I think that people want to see real fights. People want to see legend versus legend, champion versus champion. This is what we do. This is what we've done for practically all our lives. People, not that they're getting tired of seeing these exhibitions, but people want to see real fights." Oscar loves the idea of the fight as a promoter, but he's disappointed in it as a fighter.
More power to them, I guess, if they want to step in the ring and they make money, great. But yeah, that's all it is. It's a money grab. I mean, I would be silly to say, well, I would never do that because it's, you know, I'm not fighting a real fight. I'm not giving the fight fans, you know, the best of me, and I'm just trying to make money. Yeah, more power to them, I guess. You know, if people are gonna buy it here and support it, then it's great. I mean, it's more, you know, more visibility and more eyeballs to the sport of boxing, and that's what it's all about for me as a promoter. So, but as a fighter, I don't really agree with it.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.